Hello and welcome to Chatting with Malachy. I'm your host, Malachy Judd, and my guest with me today is actress, model, singer, gymnast, and many other things, the multi-talented Michele Gottschalk. So welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for being here. And as those of you who may have been paying attention, I'm sure are aware, Michele is going to be a regular cast member on my upcoming variety series that will be airing a short time from now. And we've been having a good time putting that together. And we're going to actually play a clip here of one of those scenes. This scene was actually our first time on screen together, and actually your first scene for the show at all, which turned out to be somewhat of an interesting experience. So we're going to go ahead and roll that clip right now.
Hey Malachy. I just wanted to say how sorry I am that I can't make it out for drinks tonight. But I did bring you a little something to say thanks for putting me on your show.
Oh, well, how nice. Very, very nice.
So I thought that I'd bring you some homemade cookies.
Oh.
They're chocolate chip.
My favorite.
Really? How perfect.
Yes, yes it was. Is the cookies. Yeah, well, anyway, you will be missed tonight. I was really hoping you could go with us.
You were?
Yeah, well, you know, what I mean is I was hoping that everyone would be able to go. Yeah, so, yes, so tell us about that experience. It was really a scheduling thing. The order of scenes just fell that way, and so that was.
I'm
yeah.
absolutely sure that's exactly why that happened.
Yeah,
It was definitely a way to come into the show and just be like, all right, whatever happens, happens, and just go with it. I guess that's part of showbiz. So, well, I hope that's how it actually goes.
Yeah. So anyway, we just. As a quick reference to the show, talk a little bit about how you got involved. We had gone through a string of potential Autumns, or people that were supposed to be. Autumn as the character on the show. And either they had to back out, or something didn't work, or this or that. And we were right down to production time, and we still didn't have an official Autumn, and that's when we met. And I pretty much cast her just right on the spot, like, fine, you'll do.
I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know any lines to say. Do I have to audition? What's going on? I was nervous.
But no, I want to be very clear in this, that actually, in spite of the fact that you were kind of cast in a desperate moment, like, you actually were the perfect person for the role. And I think have fit the part way better than any of those that preceded. Although everybody was great, of course, but it worked well. The first time you came in to read, there was just you were Autumn, and
right.
it was one of those things. And I have always had a theory that casting just seems to work out the right way, and this just further proves that to me, because it's unusual to. Especially at just very first reading and stuff, and we really had kind of a good chemistry just reading off the page, the parts. And those type of relationships are difficult to play. I mean, that's one of the harder things in acting.
Especially when there hasn't been any developed relationship.
Exactly. So that was, and you know, on the previous show, of course, I had a similar thing with the character of Beverly that was played by Tasha Kay, and she did a great job. I mean, she was a great actress. She did her part really well. But after 12 shows, she and I did not have that kind of on-screen chemistry that we had right away. So it's something that is well appreciated, because it comes off very nicely. So be watching for that on the show. But tell us about how you began to get into acting. How did that develop?
Well, I didn't really know that I wanted to get into acting, but when I was younger, my mother took me to an audition for a play called The Littlest Angel. It was supposed to be a child character, and they were supposed to sing. I was terrified at the time, but I'm just in the middle of this warehouse in the part of town I'd never been in, and I'm singing Rubber Ducky as this little 6-year-old girl, and I bust out a rubber duck and squeak it, and everybody just starts, oh, and I'm like, I just stop and run to my mom screaming. So I didn't get the part, needless to say, but it definitely at least pushed me in the door a little bit there, and I started with school plays after that.
Oh yeah, yeah, nice. What are some of the projects that you've done or plays that you've been in, that kind of thing?
In elementary school, I was Aunt Sponge in James and the Giant Peach.
Huh.
That one was fun. That was definitely interesting there. And I went to fine arts camps up in Alaska and definitely did little skits here and there. I liked playing teenage Noah in it was a really funny production. I apparently didn't know that he said park, and so I built an ark. That was one of those.
Okay.
Then after that, just little commercials, local stuff, and I did a couple of homemade movies, my last 2 recently, and then I moved to Portland and met you.
Yeah.
Got on a TV show.
and the big time. So
Yeah, like it's a real studio.
yeah. So you mentioned singing earlier. That's obviously another thing that you do.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. How did you get started with singing?
I actually didn't know that I was into singing at all. I played violin and then and did gymnastics, and one of the girls that was in orchestra and gymnastics with me said, "Hey, I'm putting on this show, and it's directed by the high school seniors, so we need people to come in and audition. So since you're on the team, just come on in, show some support." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And I don't even remember what I sang, something like Happy Birthday, but automatically she goes, "Okay, opening solo." I'm like, "What? Seriously? I've never sung before." And it just kind of took off from there, got into chamber choir after that, and went on a Europe tour with singing, and I just really like to do it. I do it at home on my computer, but it's not very good. Really not very good yet. I'm working on that part.
So what type of songs, what styles do you prefer doing or do you like to do?
Well, I guess for like karaoke and whatnot, I like to do a lot of Lady Gaga and common pop stuff on the radio, diva-esque type of modern pop.
Okay.
But behind closed doors, it's musicals all the time. I'm singing every time I watch Moulin Rouge the entire time. Everyone's telling me to be quiet, but I can't help it. It's Moulin Rouge. Who cannot sing?
There you go. There you go. So, okay, and also, this is a big one, I think. It's one of the first things I heard about and comes up fairly often, and you mentioned a short time ago, but that's gymnastics. And I know that's been a big part of your life for most of your life.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. I mean, sort of the beginnings and what you've done with it.
Well, I never got to be one of those extremely high-level competitive Olympic gymnasts. I'm not trying to give anybody the wrong impression here. I started out in the recreation program, and in my local town, it was just a really small gym, but I started about 4 years old and just kind of kept doing it. I really had a fun time learning how to flip around and walk in my hands, and it was really just one of those things that I kept in my life. I competed in middle school and high school, and it just kind of has stayed in my life. I decided to keep coaching because I don't want to stop doing it. Definitely going to try to do that for as long as I can before I break.
So when did you start that?
Coaching?
Yeah.
I started immediately out of high school.
Okay.
18, because I couldn't compete anymore. It was 18 is like 80 in gymnast years.
Yeah.
There's no point after that. So I just figured might as well get my first job doing something that I've known how to do my whole life.
Sure.
And it's a really good experience because they're really funny, but I like being able to give them back after class.
That's great.
I definitely get some input on child psyche and have a funny, goofy time. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, good. So I know that you have a variety of things that you like to do, artistic talents and abilities, and are there any of the other things that you're involved with that you'd like to share today?
I just generally like doing anything creative and artistic. I started out just drawing along with TV shows my little brother was watching, so it actually got me started drawing anime, which is I can't get that out of my drawings. But I managed to step away from that when I started painting. And I really like abstract paintings, because whenever you have an image in your head, it's not going to turn out how you want it to on the paper. You kind of have to move with it and work with it, and it represents life in a way, and emotion. You have a plan, but it's constantly changing, and then when you're done, you can look back at it and then move on to something new. So I did painting, drawing, jewelry. That was another thing that I started in high school, and I didn't actually know that I was going to do anything with it. I kept doing it all the way through high school and took a bunch of college courses doing it, and now I have a job doing jewelry too.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really happy that I can keep that in my life. It's really handy when you have a last minute present for somebody. Just quickly make a pair of earrings and be like, here you go, I made them for you.
Yeah.
So it's extra special that way.
Nice. So you actually brought some of your artwork with you.
I did. Yep.
You want to tell us about the pieces?
Well, this one on the left, the red and the white, was actually the first one I did on a real 3D canvas. Before that, it was just the really cheap, flat. It ended up warping, and so I decided I wanted to actually use a real canvas and see what it turned out to be. I didn't have any fancy brushes or fancy paints or anything like that, but I really liked the metallic acrylic look. And so I ended up actually using paper towel to get that brushed look in it. And I really liked having those types of the 3D paintings that I could actually keep on my wall and stuff like that. And then a friend of mine told me that she wanted a blue themed painting for her room. And so I did the same idea with this one with the paper towel brushed metallics. And then I got into all these 3D parts, that the different molding paste, and I've worked on a lot more of those. I actually have some that are actually gallery pieces now that are, the really thick ones, but I gave them to Mom for Christmas. So she's got my first official painting. I'll try to send you a clip of one of those if I can.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. And then, so as far as painting goes, mostly abstract stuff, or okay, yeah, nice.
I think if I tried to paint anything specific, it would turn out abstract anyway. So I'm probably just gonna stick with this, because at least nobody knows when you mess up.
Yeah,
you can't tell.
Very, very nice work.
Thanks, I'm very glad.
Yeah, thanks for bringing those in. I have here a note. It's funny because you're very good at hinting at things before we get there, which is nice. It sets it up for me, so that's helpful. So good job there. But you mentioned Alaska, and that you came from there. From Fairbanks?
Fairbanks, yes.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
So tell us about being born in Alaska. Do you remember the day and everything? No.
Oh yes, I remember the exact day. No, I don't know.
No, what was it like growing up in Alaska?
Well, I didn't realize how different it was until I moved here, but it's just dark all winter long and light all summer long. But the big misconception people have is that it's really bright sunlight. It's more like twilight all day long. And it's really fun for a lot of people, just go camping, or even just at sleepovers at your friend's house, you'd go camping out in the yard, except it's not exactly a yard, it's actually the woods. So you'd actually go and do that. Everybody had a four-wheeler or a snow machine. The snowmobile. Sorry, we don't have a machine that makes snow up there, so there's no point. But yes, it's a snow machine. And definitely going out, everybody's got a hunting cabin or fishing. Yeah. So you get to go out and experience those kind of things at a really young age. But moving away from there has shown me that it really is old school. A lot of the stuff is really, people aren't caught up in styles or clothing. They mostly just want to be warm. It's not really a big deal to have a fancy new car. It's a big deal to have a fancy new car with four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And that's has the ability to tow you out of a ditch, because everybody gets stuck up there. It's different living in a place where there's actual things to do. And the only concert I ever went to in Fairbanks was 98 Degrees. It was the only band that would actually go up there. I think maybe Godsmack did
Well,
too.
easy for them. Yeah.
I wish.
So, So now, how long have you been in the Portland area?
It's been about 2 or 3 years now.
Okay.
And
And what occasioned the move? I mean, what was the what made you decide to move, A, and B, Portland?
well, I originally decided that Fairbanks was freezing and I wasn't going to have it anymore. I decided, I said, Mom, I'm leaving next week. I'm going to go to college in Anchorage. And so I went down there, and just the fact that it's a bigger city, it just kind of gave me a taste of what, there's more active lifestyles, there's more things to do. It's easier to get to different types of places instead of living in the middle of nowhere. So I thought, I really want to go somewhere even bigger, but that still has the really kind mindset. Like, everybody in Alaska's very nice. Total strangers will help you with anything at all. And I'd lived on the East Coast, and they were not so friendly. So once I put my mind into it on the West Coast, I called up my friends, and my friend lived here in Portland, and she said, why don't you just come live with me in Portland? We grew up together and we were friends, so you can come and check it out. And I did, and decided to stay.
Yeah, nice. Well, that's great.
To put a long story longer.
That's great. Well, we are glad you're here, and
I'm glad to be here.
and
Awesome.
and I'm happy to be putting some or many of your talents to use as we move forward with our show. Thanks again for coming out today, and of course, be watching for Michele with me and the rest of the wonderful cast of the Malachy Judd Program coming soon to a screen near you. Yes. So this has been Chatting with Malachy. I'm your host, Malachy Judd, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.